Honorable Johanna Ngeno.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity also to weigh this particular issue of corruption and the report by the team concerned with the finding ways and means of killing corruption in this country. I want to laud my friend and a senior member in this house, Mheshimiwa from Kisumu, for that great report. I want to just state here, Madam Speaker, that corruption has been the biggest cancer worldwide, internationally, not just locally. It has eaten the fabric of the human society in terms of all the issues that governments try to do. Corruption has always been a blunder. It has always been blundering whatever the government tries to do. And one very unique thing, Madam Speaker, is that corruption is only embedded mostly on the public sector. When you look at the private sector, if it is banks, if it is private companies, if it is private entities, if it is even your own personal private home or your private farm, corruption is almost zero. But when you come to public institutions, public entities, public corporations, ministries, everywhere that has anything to do with public, I think there is a culture where people believe that this is money for free. I remember, Madam Speaker, we used to have some fields which are owned by the government, and we used to call it county grounds. So you can graze there without even payment. So I think there is that mentality, Madam Speaker, where people have equated the public funds, public offices, public institutions as if it is just there to be wasted. Madam Speaker, it is time, even as a house, sometimes we speak to the executive without speaking to ourselves as members of this house, Madam Speaker. This house has the greatest responsibility to legislate on how to curb corruption. This house has the mandate to oversight all the corrupt people, either in the executive, in the judiciary, even in this house itself, Madam Speaker. We have the capacity. We have the requisite laws in place that can help to curb corruption in this country. So, Madam Speaker, as much as we might be speaking even to the government, we need to speak to ourselves. We need to begin with ourselves, Madam Speaker, because our government is corrupt when the people who are supposed to oversight those governments are sleeping. Our government becomes corrupt, Madam Speaker, when the legislature is completely broken down. When the legislature or even the judiciary, because, Madam Speaker, the legislature can identify areas where corruption is, but the judiciary are the ones who are supposed to deal with that menace. But you see, Madam Speaker, if the legislature has been compromised, if the judiciary has been compromised, of course the executive can do whatever they want to do. So, Madam Speaker, it is upon this house to really wake up and stop making and whining against the government, yet it is us ourselves, these members of this house, who can bring corruption to zero in this country. I don't know when we will understand also that we have the capacity as even committees, especially the PAC committee, the PIC committee, to ensure that there is totally no corruption in the country. So, in fact, we should be waiting for those members of those committees, Madam Speaker, to table in this house the reports on corrupt cases in every ministry, in every parastatal. Instead of coming there and saying, oh, this ministry is corrupt, this house is whatever, bring us a report. That is the work of PIC, that is the work of PAC, to ensure that there is zero corruption in this country. Apart from that, Madam Speaker, we also have the wastage as part of corruption, where you find ministries plying with so many vehicles, where you find all sorts of employees using very expensive vehicles, consuming a lot of fuel, etc. So, Madam Speaker, I think it is time we also help the government to curb corruption in this country.
The Honorable Member for Siaya County, Honorable Christine Ombaka. She's not here. Okay, the Honorable Member for Marsabit County, Naomi Wako.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to add my voice to this very important report on against corruption.